Dear listeners, welcome to our International English Hub, a platform where you can learn English while connecting to the real world. It is always a pleasure to have you join us today. Whether you are listening from home, on your way to work, or on your evening walk, we are so happy that you have joined today's podcast. Our purpose is simple: to assist you learn English through authentic worldwide topics or events. Listening to real world stories like this will help you internalize common words, expressions, and grammar. Thereby, you will be able to use English in a meaningful way. At the same time, you will also stay up to date on major events and global issues. It is crucial to keep in mind that our conversation today is entirely educational. We are not here to take sides or share political views. Rather, our objective is to assist you in comprehending the current situation in a clear and natural manner. By paying close attention and following our explanations, you will gain the ability to discuss current events in English with confidence. Having said that, let's jump straight to our today's podcast. We're going to talk about someone who is changing the way politics works, Zoran Mamdani. If you've ever wondered how new ideas can shake up traditional politics, you're in the right place.
Exactly, Sophia. Mamdani is not just another politician. His story is inspiring, and his policies are making people talk, not only in New York but in cities around the world. Before we start, here's a quick tip for English learners. When you hear phrases like shake up traditional politics, it means to make big changes to the usual way things are done. We'll explain more useful phrases later. And don't worry, we'll pause after each section to explain tricky words and phrases in simple English. So, stay tuned.
Let's start with his personal background because understanding where he comes from helps us understand his ideas. Mamdani was born in Uganda and moved to the United States as a child. Growing up in Queens, New York, he saw firsthand the struggles of working class families. These experiences shaped his vision for fairness and equality.
Imagine being a child in a new country, learning a new language, and watching your parents work hard just to make ends meet. That experience taught him resilience and empathy.
Yes, James. And those qualities, resilience and empathy, are powerful in politics. They help leaders connect with people and understand real problems.
Sophia, I think a lot of our listeners who are learning English might not fully understand some of these words, like grassroots, working class, and make ends meet. Could you explain what they mean?
Sure, James. The word grassroots means ordinary people in a community, not big organizations. Working class means people who do jobs like factory work, driving, or service jobs, not high paying office jobs. And the word make ends meet means earning just enough money to pay for basic needs like food and rent.
These words are great for English learners to know because they often appear in news and social discussions. Now that we understand his background, let's dive into his political career and see how he started making changes. Mamdani entered politics with a clear mission: to represent voices that are often ignored. He became a member of the New York State Assembly and quickly gained attention for his bold proposals.
Bold proposals? That means strong and brave ideas. For example, he pushed for housing reforms and better access to health care. These are not easy goals, but he believes they are necessary.
Beautifully said, Sophia. He also faced challenges, criticism from traditional politicians and pressure from lobbyists. But he stayed focused on his mission. Words like bold proposals, push for reforms, and lobbyists might be confusing. Let me explain them one by one. The word bold proposals means strong and brave ideas that are different from the usual. Push for reforms means work hard to make changes in laws or systems. And lobbyists are people who try to influence politicians for special interests.
Well explained, James. Now comes the most exciting part: his innovative policies. This is where Mamdani really challenges conventional politics. First, let's talk about housing justice. Mamdani believes housing is a human right. His plan includes a rent freeze, which means stopping landlords from raising rent for a certain period. This helps families stay in their homes without fear of sudden price hikes.
He also supports community land trusts. This is a creative idea where land is owned by a nonprofit or community group, not private investors. Because this keeps housing affordable for generations. It's a way to fight gentrification, which happens when wealthy people move into a neighborhood and push out longtime residents.
Next, fare free public transport. Mamdani wants buses and trains to be free or very low cost. Why? Because transportation is essential for work, school, and healthcare. Free transit reduces inequality and also cuts down on pollution. He's also pushing for universal healthcare at the state level. That means everyone can get medical care without worrying about cost. For families, this is life changing. Our listeners might wonder, how feasible are these policies? Who is going to pay for fare free public transport and universal health care? Well, Mamdani has an answer. He believes the cost for these programs can be covered by raising taxes on the wealthy. This is another key part of his platform: progressive taxation. In simple terms, it means people with very high incomes would pay more taxes to support public services for everyone. Specifically, he proposes implementing a 2% tax on New Yorkers earning over $1 million annually and increasing the top corporate tax rate to 11.5% from 7.25%. This is a big idea, and words like progressive taxation might sound complicated. Let me explain to our English learners out there. The phrase progressive taxation means a tax system where the tax rate increases as income increases. So, the richer you are, the higher percentage you pay. Mamdani argues this is fair because wealthy people have more resources to contribute.
That is a beautiful way to explain it, Sophia. Another innovative Mamdani's policy is participatory budgeting. This allows residents to decide how public money is spent in their neighborhoods. For example, people can vote on whether to fund a new park, a library, or a community center. And Mamdani is a strong advocate for workers' rights. He supports raising the minimum wage and ensuring gig workers, like delivery drivers, get benefits such as health insurance and paid leave.
Finally, let's talk about his climate friendly policies. Mamdani wants to invest in renewable energy like solar and wind power. He also promotes green jobs, which are jobs that help protect the environment. Oh, and one of his surprising policies is about government owned grocery stores. Yes, he wants the government to run grocery stores to make food affordable for everyone. This is unusual in US politics, but he argues it's necessary to fight food insecurity. James, I think words like rent freeze, fare free public transport, minimum wage, and gentrification might be tricky for English learners listening now. Could you explain them in simple terms?
Sure, Sophia. The word rent freeze means a rule that stops landlords from raising rent, usually for a specific, temporary period. For example, a city government might pass a law that says, for the next 2 years, landlords cannot raise the rent on any existing leases. To break this down, let's say there is a tenant named Sarah who pays $1,500 per month for her apartment. Sarah's landlord still must charge her only $1,500 per month, even if the market rent for similar apartments increases to $1,800 per month. The term fare-free means using public transport, such as buses, trains, and trams, without paying a fee at the time of travel. Instead of fares from passengers, the system is funded by other means, like government taxes or other forms of sponsorship. Examples include a city making all bus rides free or a partial program where only certain groups, like children or students, can ride for free. The word fare is the money you pay to ride. Fare-free simply means there is no charge. Minimum wage is the lowest amount of money workers can legally be paid. This amount is set by law and cannot be reduced by a contract. For example, if the minimum wage is $10 per hour, a business cannot legally pay an employee less than $10 for each hour they work. And the word gentrification is the process where wealthier people move into a lower-income neighborhood, leading to an upgrade of homes and businesses, which often results in higher property values and the displacement of the original, lower-income residents. It changes the area's character as new businesses and residents replace older ones.
And phrases like life changing and give citizens real power are also useful. Life changing means something that has a big positive impact on your life. For instance, give citizens real power means allow people to make important decisions. Now that we've explored his policies, let's look at why they matter globally. Mamdani's ideas are not just for New York. Cities like London, Mumbai, and Sao Paulo face similar challenges. Affordable housing, fair wages, and accessible healthcare are global concerns.
That is true, Sophia. So, when we talk about his policies, we're really talking about solutions that could inspire change everywhere. Words like global concerns and inspire change are great for English learners. Global concerns mean problems that affect many countries. Inspire change means encourage new and better ways of doing things. Before we conclude today's podcast, let's review the useful words and phrases we learned today.
Today we learned words like grassroots, rent freeze, fare free public transport, and phrases like push for reforms and shake up politics. These are useful when talking about social issues. And remember, listening to real stories like this helps you learn vocabulary and context. Keep practicing. Finally, we invite our listeners to interact with us. Think about today's story and share your opinions in the comments. Write where you are listening and tell us your opinions on today's podcast using the words and expressions we discussed today. This active practice will make your English learning process more interactive and enjoyable. Thanks for joining